I want to share with you how I use my SewTites MAGNUM magnets. And one of the first questions will be, well, how many did you get? So I paid a lot of money, and I got two 20-packs of these and one 5-pack. And if you want a discount, just hit Marie Bard Curtis up, and she can give you a discount code. Okay, so when you get these, you get two things. You get the thing with the magnets, and then you get a strip of metal. Okay, so they do like that. And then on my leaders, and I actually did it on all three. I have the Elite frame, and I have the idler. But anyway, on this one and this one and this one, all three, because sometimes I use this lower rail. I kind of alternate between putting this end of the backing on this one and this one. If it's really a long quilt, or if it's minky, then I'll use that one. So, but I'm going to be showing from this top one. So this is how it's wound, and I know we all have different frames and everything, but the thing is that it rolls smoothly. So that'll make sense in a minute. So I had to make a sleeve for this to go into. So I didn't let it be very much bigger, okay? I folded it over and allowed room for a little seam, and it's not much bigger because I don't want a lot of movement in there. So, okay, so here's what I did, and something you'll need to decide is in the very center, do you want to be able to do this and have this inside like that, or do you want to leave this empty? Maybe you want to put a pin there. Maybe it'll make you feel better to have a pin. And actually, that was me, and specifically because I love to use minky, and I'll use the stretch either way. I don't care. But I like having a pin there, especially when I do minky. So that means that, and if you try to pull them like that, it's really hard. But if you just slide, then it's easy. So right under here is one of these, okay? And then you'll decide how far apart you want these, okay? And you don't even have to do this exactly how I did it. You can make up your own way of doing it. There's really no rules. But I slid this in from the far end down there, and then I had already marked, and if I had it to do over again, I would mark it with not just I was using that blue marker that comes off with water. So I need to make a mark, or I would actually use a darker thread instead of cream, so I could just see where those marks are. As it was, I came along and well, I had marked with this, but anyway, decide if you're going to do a stitch between them, decide how many inches you want. And I did 6, and I'm going to be honest, if I had it to do over again, I would drop that down to 5. When you do 6, you have about 2 inches of, shall we call it, playroom. I think this is about 4 inches. So decide how much wiggle you want here, okay? I think having a little bit is good, but I actually would switch it to 5. So that's what I did. I slid this one down from the far end there where the opening is, and then I stitched, and then I slid another one and stitched, slid another one, stitched all the way down, and then I repeated on the other side, okay? And so that's how this works, and we'll set that there. And then again, when you have them, if you try and do this, it's really tough, but just sliding, super easy, so not a problem. So that's what you have there. And I love to use these as an extra hand, okay? So right now, I want to lock this down because I want this on the top, okay? So that's how it's pulling off, okay? And this just kind of holds things in place. And I'm going to go ahead and place one here, just as a hand, you might say. And then I'm going to place, let's see. I have the center marked, so we'll just place one there. And I've gotten so used to having these to hold different things at different times, I can't imagine life without them. All right, right, so this just makes it easier, especially if it were a longer. This is obviously very small. All right, so we're going to start out, and I'm going to match up my dot there with the center, and I'm just putting, excuse me, I'm just putting this edge there with this edge right there. And it could be maybe like when I do this one, I'm on the other side even. But what my comment earlier is you just want it to roll smoothly. And right now I know that that's where the seam is. I kind of want it in the center, so, and you can kind of feel it with your hand. So I've got the edge there, and just snap it down. And then I grab my next one, and I very quickly just get this one roughly in the center and snap it down. And I like to line them up. It makes it go faster. And I love these. When I resigned from doing the pattern proofing for Fabric Cafe, because I'm a avid 3-yard quilt lover, this was my gift to myself when I passed the torch to another proofer, and I have just loved having these. Now, when I get to the end, I like to be able to slide this, if I can, a little bit past. That's kind of a reason why, if I had to do over again, I would only do 5 inches instead of 6, and they already cost $1 million, but I would have spent it to, because I don't think these are ever going to wear out, okay? And then I come down here, and I just repeat the process. Each time I'm just getting it centered and making the edge there with that seam thing there. So does it go faster than pinning? Much faster. And then that adrenaline rush you look forward to when you take the quilt off the rails, you can get that adrenaline rush quicker because these come off really fast. So again, on this end, I'm making sure that I kind of cover the end. And when I'm doing a minky backing, what I do before I even start this is I'll have measured the width that my minky is going to be, and I mark the center, and then I measure out from when the minky is laying on my cutting table and it's not being stretched, it's just laying nice and gentle. I'll measure, and whatever that measurement is, I'll measure down from here, and then and then I'll, well, what I actually do is I'll take that measurement, and then I'll do a pin so I know exactly where. And then I'll bring that minky edge right there, and I pin it. And I do leave that pin there, and I'll still have that right to the end, but on minky I do put pins on both ends. Okay, so now we'll go around the other side. And again, I want this locked in place because I want it held. Okay, so this is the way it's wrapping off, okay? And I want this to be on top, okay? So now I'm going to lock it down, and I'm going to pull this. Oh, and before I do this, so I was talking about the way it rolls. So if I were to unwind this, do you see how it's going to roll with? It's going to roll with. So with whatever frame you have and whichever rail you're using, look and just see. You know, maybe just do a few little magnets and just see which way is it rolling. And if you see that it's starting to do this, okay, then swap it. Swap the side that you've got it set on. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to use a hand to hold this in place. And I may use several hands when it's a really long one, but this is short, so. And now I'm looking for where I marked the center. So I'm lining up my center there, okay? And again, I'm just letting this be, let's see, get my hand holding. And now I want to take this and get it centered. Yep. You can feel it real easy where that little metal strip is under there. And I'm just going along, just lining the selvage up there. I'm going to slide this out just a little more. I do like having it cross into the, past the edge there. And do I have trouble with them pulling loose? I don't. It is amazing how well they hold. And it just makes loading the backing so much faster. And again, they're not cheap, but I don't see them. I've never known a magnet to wear out. So I feel like, well, that's a good purchase in that. So now I have it all loaded, and I would go ahead and see. Now you can see that this is rolling with it. Let me undo this for a second. So if this were going to fold back on itself, I wouldn't like that, but I like it that it's going to roll smooth. And so one concern is this idler rail, and is it going to affect the magnets? So sometimes, let's see, do this, take this off. So we're going to unroll this so that it's hanging loose. Okay, so now I lock it back down, and so this is how it's going to do when I roll. It kind of does this slight grab, but you can see I didn't even have to run down there. And then once you get it past that, and then it's not an issue for the rest of the time. See, it's grabbing it now, but it's nothing to make it let go. And even if I'm wanting to, I've had unique backings where I would kind of do this, with it. But even then, I haven't had a problem. I'll just put it that way. I haven't had a problem. So anyway, I hope that this has made sense to you, and whatever frame you have, that you just figure out which is the way that it's going to be, so that it's going to roll smooth and not turn back on top of itself like that, and you'll be fine. So again, I can't tell you how much I love these magnets, and I hope this has been helpful to you.